This is a test. This is only a test. Unless, of course, it works, and then I'm going to upload it hastily like I do everything else. We are in French Guyana, or just off the coast of French Guyana, in what is known as Devil's Island. It really refers to 3 islands. The one we're going to today, Ile Royale, which is where you see that boat headed. And I'll be hopefully posting things from there. Devil's Island, just next to it, where, for those of you who remember your social studies class, the Dreyfus Affair, that's where the guy was imprisoned all those years unjustly, and Émile Zola came to his rescue. You may or may not remember that. In any case, that's where it's going to be today. I'm going to keep this part short so I can see if it saves, because I've been having a lot of storage issues, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and will be even more so for the next week. So if this, if you ever see this, it worked. Yeah, talk to you later. All right, on the assumption that that worked, I will try again. That in front of me is Devil's Island, and if I have my bearings right, it's on the right side over at this end where Dreyfus was held for about 4 or 5 years. Someone just said this isn't bad for a place to be in prison, but and they're right, if you could run around and play out here, but I think if you looked at this out your cell window every day, it'd kind of be depressing that you were stuck there in that cell, and I'll head over to some in just a minute. Well, I would say, being on the water is kind of deceptive. I'll say I'm about a 1/4 mile from that island right now. It looks swimmable. If it were still water in a pool, maybe, but the tides here are rough. Lots of sharks, they keep telling us, because of them getting rid of inmates when they died by throwing them into the water. There's really not a lot of land here. These islands aren't that big. The one I'm going to turn to the left here and show you, this is the Ile Royale. This is the main island. This is the island where all the administrators were kept, and a few folks in solitary. Let's see if I can get over here. It's a gorgeous place. And what's not to love, unless you're stuck here forever and ever. But it's yeah, I'll see how much of this I can get before the phone shuts me down. See this little guy, he's trying to get clear of people like me. Oh, there he goes. There you go, he's back again. I gotta get out of line of traffic. Yeah, a lot of critters out here. Hey, buddy. Hey. Yeah. All right, now here's a cemetery for children. And unlike the folks that were convicted of crimes, and then if they died, they were thrown out to sea, these are the children of administrators who died because of disease primarily, I was told. And so these are anywhere from infant to little kids. And pretty rough times. I mean, there was no refrigeration, obviously no electricity, no air conditioning. So if you got disease and you were young and vulnerable, that was about it. So I don't know if you can see this little guy. He just ran across in front of me. He's trying to eat or hide or something. Yeah, we think it's a capybara. It looks to me, this looks like more like a tapir or something like that. But this is the inside of one of the cells. Dark except for the light I'm using on the camera. And I'm putting it at about 8 to 10 feet long, about 5 feet wide, something like that. Goes up a ways. ventilation. And otherwise, that's it. You got a metal door that would close over this. Damn. What's left of a bed. All right. There's the door, one of the few doors that's left. All the others are rotted away. They were wooden. Little hole in there to give you stuff. Once you're in there, you are locked in. Look at this. Damn. I'm going to see something like 20 cells. This is the place for discipline, set apart from the other cells for those who just won't listen. This is not even the kind of place Papillon stayed. That was just completely solitary. Here, at least you got somebody across the hall. That's all that's left. Walk in there, you ain't coming out unless somebody changes their mind. Pretty unlikely. Here's a view of the grounds. The extent of the place where they would quarter the folks who worked here. Okay, everybody, in one sense, is condemned to die. However, these people knew more or less when it was going to happen. What's left of these cells for the folks that were condemned to death. Maybe 10 cells in here, maybe a dozen. A little more ventilation up top. Yeah, no matter what anyone says, not knowing when you're going to die is preferable. All right, this is the House of the Sick, or place where they dealt with the infirm in one way or another. I don't quite know what these rails would have been other than maybe to support beds running from here to that wall. Looks like that's likely. Just not a place you want to be. They said something like 70,000 people over time were held here at this prison, and 50,000 of those died while they were here. It's one of the reasons why on this small island you would bury them at sea. All right, here's a quick survey of something like where the folks who ran this place lived. Looks like they built a little row of houses. Not bad. I don't think I would want that job even if I were one of the people on the good side of things. Yep. All right, here's some more of my fake history. I think this big thing, this wall runs pretty much the entire way around this area. I think this might have been something like a cistern. There's really nothing in it now, and this place would have required an enormous amount of fresh water. But it's, I mean, it's beautiful out here now. It's just so lush and whatnot. Hard to believe all that misery took place in a spot like this.